Welcome back to Pokemon Episode Summaries. Today, I'll be doing episode 182, Houndoom Special Delivery. The episode begins with Ash and the gang enjoying the scenery of a nearby mountain, suggesting that the image was so beautiful that it could even be on a postcard. Suddenly, they then spotted a Pokemon with a satchel on its back, going to deliver something. Ash used his Pokedex to find out that this Pokemon was none other than Houndoom, the evolved form of the Houndour that they had encountered previously. Of course, not the same Houndour. Misty immediately questioned why anyone would use a Houndour for a delivery service, stating that she would be too scared to accept the goddamn package, because Houndour looks super intimidating. You know who didn't look super intimidating though? Team Rocket, as they were in their Meowth balloon, enjoying the scenery of the mountain as well. Finally taking some R&R and enjoying some tea. However, immediately after taking a few sips, Jessie realized that they were just sitting on their ass doing nothing, and reminded James and Meowth that they should be looking for Pokemon to give to Giovanni, so that they could get their goddamn promotion. James and Meowth agree as well, and they all begin looking in binoculars when they spot Ash and his Pikachu on the ground, and come up with a plan to capture him. Just a standard sneak-up plan, where they would then send out their Pokemon to battle one at a time. Just the standard plan as usual. Team Rocket then put this plan into action as they intercept Ash and the gang by jumping out of their Meowth balloon when they were climbing up the mountain, and immediately state their motto, declaring their standard plan to steal Pikachu, as James sent out his Weezing, which used a standard smoke screen, making Ash and the gang blind. Jessie then sends out her Arbok and tells it to simply attack Pikachu and capture it, but Pikachu manages to rebuttal with a Thunderbolt, knocking Arbok back, sending it flying into the Meowth balloon. As for how Misty was holding up in the smoke screen, she was trying to wander around to get out of the smoke, but in the process, she unfortunately tripped on a rock, causing her to drop Togepi, who proceeded to roll over to Weezing, and Weezing tried to attack it, so Togepi used Metronome to teleport itself out of the way, by waving its arms in the air. Since the Metronome had caused the attack to become teleport this time. Sometimes there was an explosion, sometimes it was teleport, but this time it was teleport, and as a result, Togepi was teleported into a huge tree that was very high up, which immediately frightened Togepi, so although it was safe from Weezing, it was not safe from potentially falling. With Togepi up in the tree though, Weezing wasn't going to bother with it, and it instead tried to tackle Pikachu, but Pikachu responded by tackling it back, which was far more powerful, so Pikachu ended up sending Weezing flying into the Meowth balloon, along with Arbok. Ash then called out his Chikorita and commanded it to use Razor Leaf, which cut a hole in the balloon, causing it to deflate and send Team Rocket blasting off. With Team Rocket gone, Weezing's smokescreen eventually clears, and Ash and the gang are able to fully see again, allowing Misty to see that Togepi was gone. Oh no! She quickly tells Ash and Brock, and they all go to search for Togepi, calling out for it, but no response, obviously, because Togepi was far away in that goddamn tree that it had teleported to. Speaking of Togepi, it was currently crying, still up in the tree, when Houndoom heard these cries and proceeded to climb up to the tree and get Togepi down from it. That's right, the Houndoom from earlier had saved Togepi. With Togepi safe, the Houndoom continues on to go make a delivery, but Togepi continues to cry, as even though it was down on the ground, it didn't want to be left alone. So in an effort to cheer up Togepi, Houndoom then goes to another nearby tree and uses Flamethrower to get an apple down and gives it to it. Houndoom finally prepares to leave for the delivery for real this time, but then Togepi cries out again, this time because a pincer was going to attack it. The Houndoom goes up to the pincer and scares it away by tackling it, using Flamethrower, and snarling at it intimidatingly. Houndoom then tries to leave yet again, as Togepi simply continues to cry, and it tries its best to follow the Houndoom, but it trips over a rock, dropping its apple. Houndoom was getting very fucking annoyed by the crying at this point, so it simply returned the apple to Togepi, and lifted Togepi up onto its back, even though its satchel was already occupying basically the entirety of its back. He just wanted to make sure that Togepi would just quit crying for once. Houndoom then finally continued on in an effort to complete his delivery, with Togepi on its back, trying to talk to him as its new friend. Would they actually become friends? Let's see. Meanwhile, Ash and the gang had been continuing their search for Togepi for over an hour at this point, still to no avail. This led Misty to extremely worry, as Togepi was usually found almost immediately after it wandered off. And yeah, this was very true. Basically every time, it was found within like 5 seconds. Misty then begins to panic even more, as she wonders if maybe Togepi got abducted by a wild Pokemon. Or worse, killed by a wild Pokemon. Brock simply tells Misty to calm the fuck down and not stress herself out. Misty questions how the fuck she was able to do this, as Ash gets the idea to send out his Noctowl to search for Togepi from the air, hoping that would calm Misty down. Brock decides to join in as well, sending in his Golbat to join Noctowl in its search. Meanwhile, Houndoom and Togepi were continuing on to Houndoom's destination, with Togepi still somewhat upset, especially as they approached a nearby river, in which the Houndoom would have to jump across rocks to make it across. Togepi was also frightened due to the river also having a whole bunch of fucking raging waves occurring right at this moment. But Houndoom tried to calm Togepi down, assuring it that everything would be fine, as it simply hopped across the rocks, as agile as it could. Unfortunately, a Gyarados suddenly appeared, and caused a huge wave in the process, which sent Houndoom and Togepi plunging into the river, and they were being swept away by its raging currents. However, Houndoom saved Togepi by telling Togepi to latch onto its tail, and Houndoom was able to swim to shore. The Houndoom was very exhausted from doing this though, so it simply lied down on the riverbank for a while, and Togepi eventually got bored of this, being the little kid that it was, so to find something to do, it tried to climb up a steep hill. Unfortunately, it was way too steep, so Togepi began to fall down, but thankfully, Houndoom noticed Togepi falling, so it managed to get itself back up despite its exhaustion, and save Togepi, jumping up to the top of the hill in the process. Now that they were safe at the top of the hill, Houndoom let Togepi off of its back once again, and showed it a whole bunch of nearby grass and bug-type Pokemon in a field of flowers. Togepi instantly wanted to get in on the fun these bug and grass Pokemon were having, so it joined in with some Blossom in dancing, while some of the bug Pokemon tried to dance as well. However, while Togepi was dancing with these three Blossom, the Blossom performed a move where they tossed Togepi into the air, like one of those fucking birthday bump things, and in the process, Togepi lands on almost sleeping Venusaur. This obviously disturbs it, and the bitchy Venusaur uses Sleep Powder to defend itself, allowing itself to walk away, with Togepi still on it. Houndoom proceeds to scold the Blossom for getting Togepi on the Venusaur in the first place, and then tries its best to catch up to Venusaur, but the Sleep Powder puts it to sleep. Thankfully, though, since the Venusaur was so angry, it managed to shake Togepi off of it in its anger, so even though Houndoom wasn't able to save Togepi, Togepi at least wasn't carried away by the Venusaur. Meanwhile, back with Ash and the gang, Noctowl had just flown back to Ash to report to him that it had found small footprints that resembled Togepi's, but Noctowl had also found a larger set of footprints right next to it. As Ash and the gang follow these footprints, Brock notices that Togepi's footprints ended, but the larger footprints continued on. Not knowing that it was because Togepi had gone on Houndoom's back, Misty is instantly afraid that Togepi could have been carried away by a dangerous Pokemon or abducted. But her worriness also makes her more determined to follow these larger footprints. Meanwhile, with Togepi off of the Venusaur, it went up to the asleep Houndoom and tried to wake it up by taking a flower from the field and waving it in its face. And thankfully, this worked. So then, Togepi had the Blossom throw it up in a birthday bump formation yet again, this time to get it back onto Houndoom's back, and then Houndoom and Togepi set off from the field again to continue the Houndoom's journey to its delivery. As Togepi says goodbye to the Blossom, with Houndoom a bit skeptical, still kinda mad at the Blossom for getting Togepi on Venusaur. Meanwhile, Ash and the gang had successfully traced the Houndoom's footprints all the way to the river that Houndoom had just crossed not too long ago. Ash and Brock suggest looking for a bridge to cross, but Misty said that finding Togepi was too urgent, so they were simply going to run across the rocks, unbeknownst to them, just like Houndoom had. While going across the rocks, they spotted the same Gyarados that Houndoom and Togepi had, which Brock identifies as a smaller one. Thankfully, the Gyarados doesn't do anything to them, like it did with Houndoom and Togepi, so Ash and the gang are able to cross the rocks and eventually make their way across the river, where they find more footprints and follow it up the hill, all the way onto the field with the bug Pokemon and the grass Pokemon like Blossom. Of course, Togepi and Houndoom were already gone by this point. Not knowing this, Misty begins searching the field for Togepi. Meanwhile, as for Team Rocket, they were extremely angry regarding their recent defeat at the beginning of the episode, and were trying their best to fix their Meowth balloon, patching it up. They eventually do, but almost as soon as it gets into the air, James notices that the balloon was descending, as it was leaking air. Meowth thought that he had patched up all the holes, but I guess he missed one. Yeah, pretty critical mistake there. They almost crash into the same river that Ash and the gang, Togepi, and Houndoom crossed, but before they actually land in the water, they're intercepted by the same Gyarados, who tackles the Meowth balloon and sends it flying onto shore. Jesse and James are glad that they at least didn't drown, and at least survived the crash, but Meowth then notices the Gyarados swim up near shore, and it uses Hydro Pump in anger after getting hit by the balloon before, and the Hydro Pump blasts Team Rocket off. Meanwhile, back with Houndoom and Togepi, they were continuing on, with Houndoom doing everything in its power to keep Togepi safe and on its back, which included running into shelter in a tree hollow when a storm approached, in order to keep it safe from the rain and the lightning. However, the storm continued for a long time, so Houndoom noticed that the impatient Togepi was getting bored, so he decided to tickle it with its tail to cheer it up. Eventually, the thunderstorm ended, so they proceeded out of the tree hollow. Even though the storm was gone, though, a fog soon took its place, and inside the fog, Togepi and Houndoom just barely managed to spot a silhouette of a mysterious creature, presumably a Pokemon, who was emitting a whole bunch of electricity. It ran off, so Houndoom and Togepi followed it through a field that also seemed to emit some sort of electric sparkles. Maybe the field was linked to this creature? Unbeknownst to Togepi and Houndoom, this creature was none other than the legendary Pokemon Raikou. Back with Ash and the gang, they were still looking for Togepi after not finding it in the field, and Misty began to panic as the footprints had been washed away from the recent storm, so they no longer could track Togepi easily. Just as Brock and Ash were trying their best to comfort her, Pikachu suddenly spotted some fresh footprints, indicating that they must have been left after the storm. This relieves Misty, as it meant that Togepi must have still been traveling with whoever took it, and she now believed that maybe whoever Togepi was with had been helping it survive all of the harsh conditions. Knowing that Togepi may be safe after all, this gave Ash and the gang the motivation to continue searching as they followed the new footprints. Back with Houndoom and Togepi, they were continuing on their quest to find Houndoom's delivery site as usual. However, Houndoom decided to slow down from running as fast as fucking Usain Bolt when he noticed that Togepi was sleeping, and he didn't want to wake it. This signified that Houndoom and Togepi had really grown attached to each other during this journey. Despite slowing down, Houndoom was actually able to make it to its destination, being a farm owned by an old man with multiple Mareep. The man insinuates that he knew this Houndoom as he asks it what took it so long, though sees the reasoning as it had a Togepi on its back, commenting that Houndoom had made a new friend. Just then, Ash and the gang had actually managed to catch up to Houndoom and Togepi, and immediately spotted Togepi sleeping peacefully on Houndoom. Misty runs up to Houndoom, utterly relieved, and comes to the conclusion that the Houndoom must have been nice to Togepi if it was comfortable enough to sleep on it, so this also leads her to come to the conclusion that the Houndoom had saved Togepi from all the dangers along the way, so she thanks it immensely. Togepi then wakes up, and once it spots Misty, it eagerly jumps into her arms, and Misty makes it promise to her that it would never wander off like that again, although I severely doubt that would happen. As for the old man, he revealed that this Houndoom was actually his, who he nicknamed Doomy, and he had sent him on a delivery to get him some new shears that he could use for his Mareep. Now that Houndoom had returned, the old man was able to finally grab these shears out of the satchel. Just then, though, Team Rocket appeared and declared with their motto that they were going to steal both the Mareep and the Houndoom. Now, I don't know why they really chose to do this. They seemingly hadn't spotted them before, but you know what? Who cares? They probably just spotted Ash and the gang coming here, and they wanted their revenge. The man tries to intimidate Team Rocket with the shears, pointing them at them, but Team Rocket were not intimidated whatsoever, as they shot a net from their Meowth balloon to capture Houndoom. Fortunately, though, Houndoom was freed from the net instantly, as Ash sent out his Chikorita to use Razor Leaf, which cut the net. Jesse and James then sent out their Arbok and Victreebel respectively to attack. However, Victreebel began the battle by eating James as usual, as Ash sent out Pikachu, who dodged Arbok's Poison Sting. Victreebel, after freeing itself from James, then decided to go after Misty, but Houndoom jumped in the way and tackled Victreebel, saving Misty just like it had saved Togepi. Arbok tried to go in for another Poison Sting on Pikachu, but Pikachu simply countered with Thunderbolt, knocking Arbok out, and then Houndoom used Flamethrower to send all of Team Rocket blasting off. For the technical third time this episode, because if you count the Gyarados blast off. After Team Rocket was gone, Ash and the gang informed the man how they wanted to get to Eckercheek City, so the man agreed to lead them to a road that was supposed to get them there. Once they arrive at the road, Ash and the gang begin to say goodbye to the farmer and his Houndoom, but Togepi then jumps out of Misty's arms and begins to cry and run up to Houndoom. It really didn't want to leave its new friend. Man, this seems like that episode back near the end of the Orange Islands, with the Voltorb. Houndoom smiles at Togepi, truly growing to appreciate it after their journey together, but Houndoom knew that Togepi couldn't stay, and urged it to go on as it shaked its head. Togepi continued to cry at this, leaving Misty to pick it up and comfort it, explaining that the Houndoom was right. Togepi couldn't stay, and they had to say goodbye. Togepi obliged, saying one last goodbye to Houndoom with tears still in its eyes as Ash and the gang continued on their journey. At least Togepi had made a new friend.